He's a senior citizen who lives among us and he's been mistreated. Can you see the signs? Have you ever wondered how prevalent elder abuse is globally? Shockingly, statistics reveal that approximately 1 in 6 older adults have experienced some form of abuse in the past year alone. It occurs not only within the confines of one's own home, but also in nursing homes or assisted living facilities, places where our loved ones should feel safe and cared for. No one should suffer silently behind closed doors. In this video, we will delve deeper into understanding different types of elder abuse and explore gaslighting as a specific form of psychological manipulation used against older adults. Elder abuse is a serious issue that demands our attention and action. It refers to any intentional act or failure to act that causes harm or distress to older adults, resulting in devastating consequences for both individuals and communities. There are various types of elder abuse that we must be aware of. Physical abuse involves inflicting physical pain, injury, or restraint on an elderly person. Emotional abuse targets their psychological well-being through verbal threats, intimidation, or humiliation. Sexual abuse involves any non-consensual sexual contact with an elderly individual who cannot give consent freely. Financial abuse occurs when someone exploits the elderly person's financial resources for personal gain. Lastly, neglectful abuse refers to the failure of caregivers to provide necessary care and support. To truly understand the gravity of elder abuse, it is essential to hear real-life stories from survivors themselves. These first-hand accounts shed light on the immense suffering experienced by older adults every day. It's important to recognize that elder abuse can occur in different settings such as homes, nursing homes, or assisted living facilities, places where our loved ones should feel safe and cared for. The hidden nature of this crime makes it even more crucial for us to raise awareness and take immediate action against this silent epidemic. Gaslighting, a form of psychological abuse against older adults. Gaslighting is a specific form of psychological manipulation that targets elderly individuals, and it is essential to understand its significance in the context of elder abuse. This insidious tactic seeks to control older adults while making them dependent on their abuser. Gaslighters employ various tactics to exert their power over vulnerable victims. Denial is one such tactic where they adamantly refuse any responsibility for their actions or dismiss the concerns raised by the elderly person. By doing so, they invalidate the experiences and emotions of their victims. Confusion creation is another common technique used by gaslighters. They intentionally manipulate information and distort reality to make older adults doubt their own memories and judgment. This constant state of confusion leaves victims feeling disoriented, helpless, and more susceptible to further manipulation. Furthermore, gaslighters continuously criticize their elderly victims as a means of maintaining control. Constant criticism chips away at self-esteem and diminishes confidence, reinforcing feelings of dependence on the abuser. Isolation plays a crucial role in gaslighting as well. Abusers deliberately isolate older adults from friends, family members, or other support systems. By severing these connections, gaslighters create an environment where victims have no one else to turn to for validation or advice. It's important to recognize that gaslighting not only causes emotional harm but also undermines an individual's autonomy and independence, a stark violation of basic human rights. 3. Recognizing signs of gaslighting in elderly loved ones. Gaslighting is a particularly insidious form of psychological abuse that specifically targets elderly individuals. It is essential to be able to recognize the signs so that we can intervene and support our loved ones. Frequent confusion. One significant sign of gaslighting is frequent confusion experienced by victims. Gaslighters intentionally create doubt in their memory and judgment, leading to constant bewilderment or disorientation. If you notice your elderly loved one struggling with frequent forgetfulness or seeming unsure about their own experiences, it could be a red flag for gaslighting. Emotional distress. Gaslighting often causes emotional turmoil in its victims, leaving them feeling anxious or fearful. Keep an eye out for any sudden shifts in your loved one's mood or unexplained feelings of distress. These emotional indicators may point towards possible gaslighting experiences they are enduring. Isolation. Another tactic used by gaslighters is isolation, separating the victim from friends, family, and other support systems to maintain control over them. Watch for signs such as withdrawal from social interactions or increased dependence on a single individual, which may indicate that your loved one is being manipulated through isolation techniques. Frequent doubt and self-blame. Victims of gaslighting often question their abilities and blame themselves unnecessarily for things that aren't their fault. Pay attention if your elder family member seems consistently uncertain about their judgments, intelligence, or memory without valid reasons behind these doubts. Discrepancy in accounts. Manipulative tactics employed by gaslighters can create conflicting accounts between victims and others involved in their lives, such as caregivers or friends. Take note if there are noticeable inconsistencies between what your loved one shares versus what others say happened. This discrepancy might hint at manipulation through gaslighting. By recognizing these signs, we can play a crucial role in identifying and stopping gaslighting abuse against our elderly loved ones. It is essential to trust your instincts and take action if you suspect someone may be experiencing this form of psychological manipulation. 4. Understanding vulnerability factors for elderly individuals. As we delve deeper into the issue of elder abuse and gaslighting, it is crucial to understand the vulnerability factors that make older adults more susceptible to manipulation and mistreatment. By recognizing these factors, we can take personal responsibility in safeguarding our loved ones and creating a society that values their well-being. Cognitive decline and memory loss. One significant vulnerability factor is the age-related cognitive decline experienced by older adults. Studies have shown that as individuals grow older, their cognitive abilities, such as memory and judgment, may diminish. This decline can make them more susceptible to gaslighting tactics employed by abusers who seek control over their victims' perceptions of reality. It is essential to recognize this connection between cognitive decline and susceptibility to gaslighting because it hits close to home. Our own aging parents or grandparents may be vulnerable targets for manipulative individuals seeking power at their expense. Erosion of social support systems. Another vulnerability factor arises from the erosion of social support systems within communities and families. Older adults who are isolated or heavily dependent on others for care are at an increased risk of falling victim to gaslighting behaviors. We must remember how important it is to build strong social support networks around our elderly loved ones. By fostering connections within communities and families, we can provide a protective barrier against potential abusers while promoting feelings of belongingness and security. Diminished physical and mental capacities. Reduced physical strength or compromised mental capacities also contribute significantly to the vulnerability of older adults towards exploitation through gaslighting techniques. As they become physically frail or experience mental health conditions, their ability to protect themselves diminishes significantly. To address this vulnerability, caregivers, professionals, and advocates play a vital role in providing tailored support services focused on meeting the specific needs of elderly individuals with diminished capacities. We must ensure they receive appropriate care designed specifically for their unique circumstances. Desire to maintain relationships and avoid conflict. Lastly, societal ageism, stereotypes, and marginalization play a detrimental role in the compliance of elderly individuals with gaslighting behaviors. The desire to maintain relationships and avoid conflict can make them more susceptible to manipulation by abusive individuals who exploit these vulnerabilities. As responsible members of society, it is our duty to challenge ageism and promote healthy relationships based on respect, autonomy, and empathy. By understanding these vulnerability factors for elderly individuals, we are better equipped to address the underlying issues contributing to elder abuse. It is through education, awareness-raising efforts, and proactive support that we can ensure a safer world for older adults, one where they are valued, protected, and free from the insidious impact of gaslighting. Impact of gaslighting on mental health. Gaslighting, a form of psychological abuse targeted at older adults, can have profound effects on their mental health. Feelings of confusion, self-doubt, and isolation become intertwined in the lives of gaslight elderly individuals. They question their own sanity as they're manipulated into doubting their own thoughts and experiences. This erosion of trust in oneself leads to an overwhelming sense of powerlessness and vulnerability. Furthermore, gaslighting can trigger or worsen anxiety and depression among older adults. The relentless manipulation employed by gaslighters dismantles their confidence and sense of self-worth. As a result, they experience heightened levels of anxiety and sadness which further deteriorate their mental well-being. The insidious nature of gaslighting also erodes the trust that victims have in themselves as well as others. Constantly being deceived and manipulated causes them to doubt not only their own judgment but also the intentions and honesty of those around them. This loss of trust deepens the emotional wounds inflicted upon them. Moreover, for those who already suffer from pre-existing mental health conditions such as dementia or depression, gaslighting exacerbates these conditions significantly. The psychological trauma caused by this abusive tactic aggravates symptoms associated with these illnesses, demanding urgent intervention and support. It is imperative that we recognize the devastating impact that gaslighting has on the mental health of older adults. By understanding how it creates feelings of confusion, self-doubt, isolation, increased anxiety and depression, loss of trust in oneself/others, as well as worsening pre-existing mental health conditions, we can better comprehend the urgency for intervention and support for these vulnerable individuals. Supporting elderly individuals who may be victims of gaslighting. Gaslighting is a devastating form of psychological abuse that can have severe consequences for elderly individuals. As we continue to shed light on this silent crime, it is crucial that we come together as a society to support those who may be experiencing gaslighting. One key aspect of supporting older adults is encouraging open communication and validation. Creating safe spaces where elderly individuals feel heard and validated is paramount. We must empathize with their experiences, showing them that their feelings and concerns are valid. Through active listening, validation, reassurance, and appropriate interventions, we can provide the necessary support they need. In addition to fostering open communication, promoting education and awareness about gaslighting is equally vital. Caregivers, professionals, and advocates play a significant role in identifying signs of gaslighting and intervening effectively. By educating them about the tactics used by gaslighters, we empower them to recognize these abusive behaviors promptly. Furthermore, raising public awareness within communities helps break the silence surrounding elder abuse. By sharing information about gaslighting, its impact on older adults' mental well-being, we create an environment where victims feel supported rather than isolated or dismissed. Together, through open communication, validation, education, and community awareness initiatives against gaslighting, we can make a difference in lives of elderly individuals who may be victims of this insidious form of abuse. Let us join forces and ensure that no elder suffers in silence or falls victim to manipulative tactics meant to undermine their sense of self-worth or independence. Our collective efforts will contribute towards unmasking elder abuse once and for all. Your actions matter. Share this video to spread awareness and help protect our vulnerable elders from the shadows cast by gaslighters. Elder abuse, a silent crime that often goes unnoticed and unreported, demands our attention. As we have delved into the different types of elder abuse, particularly gaslighting as a form of psychological manipulation against older adults, it becomes evident that raising awareness is crucial.